Hey guys, Miss Cuban here. In this video, I'm going to go over slope and y-intercept and the slope-intercept form of the equation. So, when you see an equation, y equals mx plus b, the m is your slope and the b is your y-intercept. Slope is when you take the change in y and you divide it by the change in x. And so my change in y is equal to my rise, my second y, minus my first y. And my change in x is my second x minus my first x. So it's your rise over your run. That is slope. Your y-intercept is when x is 0, what does y equal? That is your y-intercept. So you are looking for when the y touches, when the line touches the graph at the y-axis. So let's look at some examples. Okay, so when you see an equation, I always like to write the y slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. Your slope is your m, and your y-intercept is your b. So my slope, I am going to be multiplying x by this number. Well, there's imaginary 1 multiplying by x, so my slope is 1. And then my b is what's next, and that is -5. And that's my y-intercept. So if I look at an equation, I can pull the equation and find my slope and y-intercept. Let's try some more practice. Okay, this time I have a graph. So I need to find my slope first. And as we know, my slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And my slope is my rise over my run. So when I look at my graph, I'm going to choose my perfect points. I have my perfect point of right here, and I have a perfect point right there. And I look at my y-axis because my rise, and it's counting by 2's. So I'm going to count my rise by 2's. Up is 2. So my rise is 2. And my run is my x-axis, which is counting by 1's. So 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 2/3. But I have to double check this by checking to see if my graph is positive or negative. So I'm going to move my finger from left to right, and I'm going up, so it's positive 2/3. So my slope is 2/3. And now your y-intercept, when you're looking at a graph, your y-intercept is when the line, and I'm going to erase a little bit of my work right here. It's when your line touches the y-axis. So when your line touches that y-axis, that's when x is 0. And I notice that it touches at -6. That is my y-intercept. So if I was to plug this into the equation up top, my equation is going to be y equals 2/3 times x minus 6. And that is slope and y-intercept. Let me see if I have another problem to practice with. Okay, let's try this problem. This is the word problem. So Carly wants to buy some fish to keep in her room. At a local pet store, customers can pay $12.50 for a fish tank and 20 cents for each fish they purchase. So when I'm reading a problem like this, I need to kind of make a table so I can see what the problem's talking about. So I'm going to make my table. And I know I have my x-axis and my y. So to determine the x and y, I need to see what is independent and what's dependent in the problem. I am talking about a fish tank and the money for the fish tank, and I'm talking about how much each fish costs. So what I notice is that what's not changing in the problem is the fish. Because you can purchase one fish, two fish, no fish. The fish are not changing. So the fish is going to be my x-axis. How many fish I buy. How much each fish is. And my y-axis, my dependent variable, is going to be talking about how much the whole thing's going to cost. Because I may be talking about $12.50 for a fish tank and 20 cents for each fish, but I'm still comparing about my total cost. So my y's is going to be my total cost. So I know that if I buy no fish and I purchase a fish tank, if I'm paying no fish, that means I am not buying anything but a fish tank. So I'm adding a $12.50, and so my total cost is $12.50. If I am buying one fish, I'm now going to take that 20 cents for each fish. So that looks like I'm going to be multiplying. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 20 cents, which is 20 cents. And then I'm going to also still have to add the fish tank, $12.50, to it. So my total cost would be $12.70 for one fish. What I notice I'm doing is I'm multiplying by the 20 cents. If I'm multiplying 20 cents each time, then I'm taking my x, multiplying it by 20, that is my slope. My slope is what I'm multiplying by. So my slope is the 20 cents. Now, in order to get my total cost, I also have to add the fish tank. So that is going to be my y-intercept, what I'm adding. So my equation is y equals 20 cents times x plus $12.50. I hope this helps you with slope and y-intercept form, especially that formula, that equation. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good day, guys.